Welcome to the Smart Driving Cars podcast. It's great that you're joining us once again. I'm Fred Fishkin, along with the Faculty Chair of Autonomous Vehicle Engineering at Princeton University, Alain Kornhauser. Hi, Alain.
Hey, good morning, Fred.
Good morning. It's a sunny Sunday here.
It is, but it's chilly. I have my gilet on.
And on top, in the latest Smart Driving Cars newsletter, you have a link to a Princeton Scholars discussion about Israel and Gaza. There's also a link to a talk about the war by Daniel Kurtzer, a professor there and a former ambassador to Egypt and Israel.
Yeah, I mean, we commented last time about Kurzer's talk, and I added it back on on this e-letter because I just found it extremely informative and very, very insightful, at least to me. And again, I just offer these up if somebody wishes to listen to some things that isn't fake news or fake who knows what, or you can't even tell. I mean, you don't even want to go there. Anyway, so
but the discussion is very, very worthwhile from multiple viewpoints and obviously knowledgeable people.
Yes, and yes, and so irrespective of which side of this thing, of course, there's only one side, but anyway, enormously troubling situation. Prayers to everybody who's involved.
Moving on, in the newsletter, Alain, The Verge has a report from Andrew Hawkins headlined, "How will driverless cars talk to pedestrians?" Waymo has a few ideas. One being, in the article here, LED displays on top of vehicles communicating messages, and there are also external audio alerts that can communicate with emergency responders. Your take on that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have displays now that display information, and there's no reason why, you can't have a display on it, or in fact, display on the windshield. What the heck? Why do you don't need to see out the windshield? So there are all sorts of things that one can do here. A lot of the discussion today, especially when in the discussions to make these vehicles, for people to purchase and have personal vehicles, as basically screens. So throughout the inside, you can have screens throughout the outside too. And so the communications, both verbal, both and with images, and maybe even tactile, for people that have sight issues. Of course, absolutely, it's open season. Do something good here. Communicate with your customer. You're giving rides. Okay, and not joy rides. You're just giving rides. These aren't amusement rides. These are just rides, and let people be comfortable and informed. Why not?
And for people who are walking or on bicycles on the outside of the vehicle, communication with them can be. I mean, you and I, when we're driving, you have eye contact with
You have eye contact. There are
riders.
Various things you can, set up a whole new set of signals. We've used hand signals to indicate turns in the distant past. You do one of these or one of those type of thing. All sorts of things are very possible, very doable, for which, people such as Google and GM and Cruise and so on have, all sorts of individuals that could be creative in providing ways to communicate with your customer. This is nothing more than customer communications. Respect the customer and just communicate.
Glydways, Glydways, has raised $56 million, including an investment from Bill Gates for their San Francisco-based robotaxi company. They're planning to use 4 passenger electric vehicles, glide cars, designed to operate in dedicated lanes. And that's the big differential here, I suppose.
That's the big differential in dedicated lanes and dedicated lanes. And, we've been able to do this in dedicated lanes for, almost 50 years or 50 plus years. You look at all the automated people movers in airports. One isn't an airport, or at least a major airport, unless one has an automated people mover who does collision avoidance, does all this stuff, opens the doors, gives rides, shared rides even. People get in, just use them. I know I go in these things and where's the driver? And I look around, I'm always nervous, and everybody pulls out their cell phones and starts dialing 911. There's a crazy in here, What's the matter with this guy? People just do it to get around, but they're in dedicated right-of-ways. And it makes the command and control and safety systems so much easier because you don't have to worry about potential of kids chasing balls. No bicyclists there. Actually, there are no bicyclists on our interstate highways. They're forbidden. Because otherwise we probably couldn't drive down a New Jersey Turnpike and I-95 and whatever if there were bicyclists there. Never mind. But so back to the point, yes, and the challenge of the dedicated right-of-way is getting folks to dedicate right-of-way to this. We've dedicated right-of-way in buildings for elevators to go up and down, and they work there. And as I mentioned, in airports to get from wherever to wherever that you need to in an airport. And maybe in some, amusement areas or something. I don't know what exists at Disneyland or Disney World. Haven't been there in years. Don't intend to go. Never mind. But in cities, oh my goodness. Jacksonville built one. I think they've deactivated it. Maybe they're trying to reactivate it, for a short stretch. Otherwise, it's only in basically 3 places that it's essentially the sort of automated people mover or personal rapid transit systems were ever built. 3 places over the last, since the creation of man and woman. 3 places. Morgantown, Masdar, and Heathrow. 3 places. It's not that we and many others didn't try, but it's so hard to go to a planning board meeting and say, okay, yeah, we're going to dedicate this. And dedicate it on the ground, that means it has to be fenced off. Stick it up in the air, that means it has to go by somebody's bedroom window.
Well, there's another option that there's another option that Alain has thought of.
Yeah, put it underground. Which in fact, certainly when we looked at it, the costs were monumental. I mean, that's where New York City's subway system ended up, and that's where the London subway system ended up, and that's where the Paris metro ended up, and the Moscow metro, and most of the metro and around the world ended up underground. Now, the Boring Company is building one of these things in Las Vegas. It's going to be more than just a couple of stops. Okay, so maybe, Boring Company now has a way to easily, dig tunnels underground, do this underground. Great. But with my students, we designed these systems for, 40 years. 40 years. It's like going through the desert. I carried the tablets through the desert. 40 years, 3 systems. First system we designed for New Jersey. I brought it down to New Jersey DOT circa, I don't know, 1975. I mean, was just laughed at. I mean, I don't even think I was laughed at. Just, you got to be kidding. Okay. I mean, you've got to be kidding. And other systems, 10,000 miles of guideway or of exclusive way, 10,000 stations provide mobility to everybody, in New Jersey, not quite door to door, but easy walk to easy walk, you know, cost, I don't know, quarter of a trillion, half a trillion. Plus, if even you could put the land together and connect them and all the whatever, and even oh my goodness, the beauty of the driverless vehicles that Waymo has, I think, can make work, and that GM Cruise, I think, can make work and have demonstrated to work, and what a few others are working on and may have a chance to get working, is that they use the existing roadways. The the vision that came out of the DARPA challenge that, whoa, all we have to do is put the intelligence in the vehicle so it doesn't crash, and we can just go out there and use what's there. We don't need anything, maybe just some paint. Well, I need paint to be able, hey, I'm getting my eyes fixed, so maybe I'll be able to see if there's paint. So I go cataract surgery on Monday, so now maybe I can see, but they still have to put paint out there for me to see the lane. Okay, somewhat smooth surface. So that's all we need. If you put the intelligence in the vehicle, that's why that's why there's been so much invested in this. It's because you really shouldn't have to ask anybody for permission if it works. Now we're there, hey, please, let us take a steering wheel out of here. Otherwise, we'll just put a steering wheel in there just to make you happy. I mean, you really want a steering wheel in a vehicle? I mean, you want it to go through my chest? Oh, sure, you'll put an airbag on it. Thank you. I never mind. It's just so
I think you're
silly.
referring to us still waiting for NHTSA to move on the Cruise Origin bid.
Come on, it's what really? Really? How many people haven't gotten rides because you do that? How many people haven't been able to feed their families? How many people haven't been able to go to cello lessons so that they can get into Princeton? Come on,
Moving on, Alan. Tesla has officially released API documentation to support third-party apps. And the expectation is this could lead to a more open app store in Tesla vehicles.
Yeah, I thought Tesla wanted to keep everything for themselves and do everything themselves, which is fine, I guess. Do it, please. Are you really you want to partner up with folks? Really, this is great. Thank you. And in fact, make sure that the sort of crazies don't get a hold of it and, do who knows what. But I'm sure you will be careful about that. But my goodness, we'll talk a little bit later about, an application that's going on. And great.
Interesting to see what happens, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think there are a lot of folks out there who would like to, who think Tesla's doing a pretty darn good job and could, help make this help, roll up their sleeves and help make this happen.
Meanwhile, the Model Y is now being used in downtown Tampa.
I should point out that I don't publicize who I have in my class, so I won't mention the name who I have in my class. But I had a person in my class last Wednesday who basically came out instantaneously and said, "No way."
We'll see.
We'll see. And I said, geez, thank you for telling me no way. And I guess I understand no way, but I'm bullheaded enough.
Model Ys are now being used in downtown Tampa in the Dash ride-sharing service. The price, $2 a person with a minimum of 2 people per ride. The rides are booked using an app. And we should note, Alan, of course, these are not driverless, at least at this point.
Yeah, well, they're not driverless. They are with drivers, and they've been able to properly justify the person in there and basically have a funding source to pay that person and gladly pay the drivers. And I think that's fantastic. I applaud Dash for doing that and providing rides. I don't know why you would need an app to do this. Why in the heck do you need an app? These vehicles, I imagine, are just going to be at like our kiosks. They're point to point, I believe. Why can't people just walk up? I need an app? Whatever, I guess. Maybe, okay, sure. I guess everybody has an app. Just seems to be. I don't need an app to get in an elevator. Okay. And maybe some people, some elevators now you have to have a special card to be going in there because, of course, where you're going, only the precious few are permitted to go. I can understand that in certain situations, but otherwise, why shouldn't it be open to everybody? What the heck, really? I need an app. But the second piece, which of their level of service that they're out there saying, one is very affordable. It's only within a 2 square mile area, but still a 2 square mile area is kind of it's tough to walk from corner to corner and whatever. And it's nice to be able to hop in and I guess it gets a little warm every once in a while in the summer. So you'd like to maybe hop into something. Okay, fantastic. But the other beauty of the offering is that it's shared ride. Okay, it's not casual shared ride. In other words, I don't know how they're going to necessarily deal with 2 people who aren't somewhat connected hopping in together. But I'm sure with the driver there, they can manage that. But even if it is connected people, the 2 of us down there hopping in, but it would require the 2 of us. So that if I needed to ride, I'm there. I might go around. Hey, hi, my name's Alain. Would you mind? Are you going? One, we go together. Might meet somebody. And the shared ride's important, darn it, because it allows the vehicle to be productive. Now, in a situation in which there's nobody else around and it's just sitting there, I guess they may ease that up. I suspect that they will, but certainly in peak times, the objective should be to share rides. Otherwise, you need so darn many vehicles. The vehicle fleet size is dependent on the demand during the peaks, and the peaks in transportation as a function of time are really big. And if I need all these vehicles in the peak, what are they doing in the off-peak? Sitting around, what are the drivers doing? Sucking their thumbs. And elevators would not work in tall buildings if, in fact, they did not share rides in peaks. Period. No argument. You couldn't build enough elevators. Tall buildings wouldn't work. Why are we making our cities be forced to work to make sure that, nobody else is going to be near me? If you don't want anybody else near you, come out here in Mays Landing. Nobody near me here, Go out in the woods, go in the desert, go in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I don't know. Ooh.
Alan, more Tesla news. They've announced what they call a significant breakthrough in the 4680 battery cell production at Gigafactory Texas. It produced its 20 millionth battery cell at the factory, and Electrek estimates the production may now be about 800,000 cells per week.
Yeah, now you have to remember, these are cells. These aren't whole batteries. Okay,
right.
You got to put the cells together to make a whole battery, like thousands of, I don't know what the number is, whatever the number is. But each one has to be manufactured and produced. Batteries have been the Achilles heel, or the throat, or the congestion point, or the limiter of electric vehicles since day one, since 1835. Since, sure, it's always been thought electricity is a great thing to propel vehicles. And my goodness, the fact that you transfer into momentum kinetic energy, and then as you slow down, you can capture some of that. You don't have to make it all heat. You can regeneratively brake. It's almost a perpetual motion machine. Problem is you need this thing to hold the electricity and be able to move with you and give you the electricity when you need it. And the fact that we're using these battery cells in the first place has been, a real revelation. That's what made Tesla no lead acid battery. No, we're going to use silicon and do it that way. And lithium, we're going to use lithium, and we're just going to do it that way. But you have to make the cells, you have to put them together, you have to whatever, and do a lot of things with it, but you have to manufacture them. And I don't know, it seems like it's worth noting, because if you're going to make these things, you need a lot of batteries. Okay, now maybe at some point we can recycle them all, or they never go bad, or who knows what. But you got to make them the first time anyway. Maybe
there's certainly a lot of R&D going on.
An enormous amount of R&D. Yeah, serious R&D, serious startups, a lot of serious work. But at some point you have to scale. Okay, so it's one thing doing the thing in a laboratory. It's one thing doing the thing in a Steve Jobs garage or something like that. It's a whole other thing to do things in a gigafactory and make gazillions of them. And apparently they're in a gigafactory making gazillions of them.
And they're doing it in Texas, which is a big advantage when it comes to the incentives, et cetera, that the government offers, as much as they can make.
Well, not just that, but if they're making them there, guess where you're going to put them? In the cars or Cybertrucks there. Right. So you don't have to transport them halfway around the world after you make. I mean, you look at some of these things, you look at the supply chain associated with making some of these things, you make them over here, to make them over there, to do like goes crazy. Yeah, one of the interesting things that happened with respect to their battery plant in Nevada was that, my goodness, these are batteries for the Fremont assembly facility in California. So now you have to get the batteries from Nevada to California, and I think it's been a major motivation of the Tesla Semi. Oh, okay, so now we need trucks to be able to get these batteries over there, although they could have used railroad, I guess. But if we use trucks, then maybe we should make our own electric trucks to take the batteries from where we're manufacturing the batteries to where we're going to put them in the cars in Fremont. So again, logistics plays a large part in a lot of these things. Manufacturing plays an enormous part. The other interesting thing in that post is the comment that the cost of producing the batteries is maybe chopped in half. Chopping battery costs in half is big, because batteries are an expensive component of that car. It's like chopping cost of making the V8 that goes into whatever in half. That's a lot to make the vehicles affordable.
And they've been reducing prices and
they're reducing prices, and we'll hear from every 3 months we hear what extent it affects the bottom line, and it seems as if what Tesla is, they built the manufacturing facilities to produce the vehicles to scale. One expects with scale the unit prices go down, but then you have to sell them. So, but because unit prices go down, you can afford to sell them at a cheaper price. And some people say, well, what about the competition? Well, competition's gonna have to take care of itself on this one, I guess. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Tell Tesla to increase its price to make sure that the others can also sell at a high price so that they can make money? I don't know. I don't want to just argue that one. I mean, it's just whatever. But
Alan, a couple of reminders in the newsletter. The Podcar conference coming up next month. This is in San Jose.
Yeah, this is San Jose, and it goes back to our previous discussion with respect to vehicles that can operate in exclusive roadways or exclusive guideways to help the safety case and make it a heck of a lot easier. The safety case a heck of a lot easier. I mean, night and day easier. Okay, Morgantown has operated, I don't know, where they move 15,000 kids a day or something like that at the University of West Virginia, between the University of West Virginia campuses. And I don't think they've ever had a serious crash. I'm sure some students have tried to stuff Morgantown vehicles with 100 students or something like that. All the kids who did I participate in that? I might have. How many kids can you put in a Volkswagen Beetle? I'm sure. I would imagine they've been creative in West Virginia and tried to see how many kids can I put in a Morgantown PRT vehicle. I guess maybe not. Somebody will, hopefully, if there's a link to a video of that, I'd love to. Whatever. Somebody will make it up now. No, never mind. Please don't.
The other reminder, Alan, is about a new book coming out soon. The one you've written with Michael Sena, The Real Case for Driverless Mobility. Getting close.
Getting close. I mean, we decided on the cover. We decided on the back page. I guess it's coming close. Apparently, you can also pre-order this from Elsevier. Great, and we're gonna, and there's supposed to be an ebook version because the hardcover version is non-inexpensive. I don't know. It's Elsevier, whatever. And then we're going to see if we can do an audio version with you doing it, Fred. I mean, that would be great if you did the audio version. I guess it would be nice to do an audio version. And I think also Elizabeth and I are deciding when the next summit's going to be. It looks like maybe we're shooting for May 29th. Or May 29th, 30th, and 31st. It looks like, or almost have it down. So we're going to put the team back together and do a summit at the end of May. I think. I mean, I really want to do it. I think by then, certainly the book will be out and whatever, and hopefully that makes a difference. And hopefully, well, given all the places that GM Cruise is in now, maybe they'll by then have decided to come to Jersey, or maybe Waymo's advanced enough to come to Jersey, and maybe we'll get them to participate. GM Cruise participated the last one we did, and so it'd be fair to them, but maybe we can get Waymo. I don't know. It'd be nice. Why not? We have people here in Jersey that need rides. It would improve their lives if they got rides. And guess what those two companies can do? They can give rides, and they can give rides very affordably, I believe, and very efficiently, and at really a high quality. Whether they're going to be, but they're not amusement rides. They're serious rides. And I think both of those companies are, at least they should be, in the serious rides business. We'll see.
Absolutely. Well, that's a lot to look forward to.
Yep. And we're at midterm break at Princeton, so wow. Quarter of the year is gone already. My goodness. And it's fun to be back off sabbatical and having a great time with students, and what a good bunch of students I have. So
Terrific. Well, you can find us at smartdrivingcar.com, also on Spotify, TuneIn, Apple, Google, Amazon, wherever you turn to for podcasts. You can find my tech reports at techstination.com. I'm Fred Fishkin, along with Alain Kornhauser. Good luck with the cataract surgery, Alain. And thank all of you.
I'm going to be able to see.
Thanks to everyone for listening or watching, and please continue to stay safe.
Next thing you know, I'll get hearing aids so I can hear. No, but I don't want to. I don't want to hear. Okay. Thank you, everybody.